Just over a year ago, we entered the first lockdown in the UK in response to COVID-19. Many of us hoped that that would have been the first and only time we would have had to do something as disruptive to our ordinary lives and to the wider economy. Unfortunately, after a year, we recognize that it was not over in the summer of 2020. There are many lessons that we should have learned from that first lockdown, which we have an opportunity to put into practice now as we come out of the current lockdown. And one of the things that we've learned is that we have to do this slowly, carefully, and deliberately. And that's why we've a roadmap that lays out the different milestones that we need to meet in order to safely return to business as usual in this world in which we are living with COVID. We've already passed a few important milestones. The first key one was the reopening of our schools. And thus far, we've seen our students return without any increases in cases. Certainly in Torbay, our numbers continue to decrease and have stabilized at low levels. At the end of March, we were able to do some activities outdoors. We were able to meet with people in outdoor settings. And from April the 12th, we will see reopening of our high street shops. We will see many of our outdoor attractions reopen. The hospitality sector will also begin to reopen. We're still encouraged to work from home as much as possible. International travel is still not permitted at this time. And what that means is that Torbay will be an attractive destination for people from all over the UK who will want to come back to the Bay to enjoy all that we have to offer. And that also goes for our residents. We want to encourage people to be responsible. Those of us who live in the Bay, those who will visit. And the strapline that we're using is Responsible Riviera. And that means that we have to continue to follow the rules and not look at these easing of restrictions as an excuse to bend the rules, because we know that if we do that, the cases will begin to rise again. So by all means, let's enjoy all the new freedoms that we will have as these restrictions are eased, remembering that the restrictions are eased, they're not completely lifted. When we're meeting with others who are not in our household, we still need to maintain social distance. When we're visiting shops and other establishments indoors that are open, we need to keep using our face coverings. And we need to be even more careful about hand hygiene at this time, especially as more people are moving about, the opportunity to have contamination as we touch surfaces in our day-to-day activities. All across the Bay, businesses, attractions, operators, others who will begin to be looking at piloting events are all wanting to offer a safe environment for the people who visit their establishments, who take part in the attractions that the Bay has to offer. And we're working very closely with our partners across the Bay to make sure that Responsible Riviera is real and offers the protections to our residents and to our visitors at this time. Most of all, we want to work together to ensure that we keep our numbers low and that we do not see a resurgence of COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and unfortunately deaths. We want to make sure that this is indeed the last lockdown that we experience. One of the things that we didn't have a year ago was the vaccine program, and that has really helped to change the dynamic of this epidemic, of this pandemic. And I do hope that all those who are still to be vaccinated do come forward. I myself had my vaccination at the end of March. The other thing I want to encourage people to do, particularly those who are working in face-to-face occupations or who are engaged in activities where they're meeting people and can't maintain social distance as easily, that they get tested using the asymptomatic tests that we have available. Certainly at Key West, we offer testing twice a week for certain people. For example, we've had a taxi driver who spoke very well of the experience that he has had being tested twice a week there. That offers an opportunity to detect any asymptomatic infection early for people who unfortunately can't work from home or are in activities where they need to be in contact with other people and can't socially distance or take the other precautions that are necessary to interrupt transmission from one person to the other. We want people to enjoy the new opportunities that are available. We want people to be safe. Most of all, we want people to be responsible. Together, we can make Responsible Riviera a reality, and we can continue to make steady progress into June, when we hope, if all things are, if all the tests are met, that we will be able to have the restrictions lifted completely and enter, hopefully, into a new period when our economy can get back to running at full throttle, and where our residents and visitors will continue to be safe from COVID in their day-to-day activities. Thank you.